wabarakatuh. Give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has spared our lives to this moment. May He accept our ibadat. Ameen. Inshallah, tonight we are welcome us back to the next Sorfu class, which is the Sorfu class 9 from the Matnul Izzi. So, inshallah, tonight's topic is going to be Fi'lul Amr. So, as we all know, Fi'lul Amru is usually formed from our Fi'lul Mudorium. This topic has been treated once before, so if you want to revise on the topic, you can check the link that is attached to the lesson notes. So we know that Fi'lul Amru is usually formed from the Mukhatab, the second person verbs of our Fi'lul Mudorium. So Fi'lul Amru is usually formed from second person verbs of Fi'lul Mudorium. So we have the تفعل تفعلان تفعلون تفعلين and تفعلن. We have, so an example, taking kataba as example. From kataba we have yaktubu. So we have taktubu, taktubani, taktubina, taktubuna and taktubna. So those are the 5 verbs we usually form our fi'l amru form. So taktubu means write. You write. Taktubani, you are writing for dual. Taktubina, you are writing for a female. Taktubuna for jamu mudhakar, that is male plural, and taktubna for female plural. So how do we now form amru from all this? First step is to remove the harful mudara'a, that is this letter of mudarium. The first letter you encounter in your fi'l mudari, that's the harful mudara'a, which can be alif, ya, ta or nun. So that first letter is what we remove first. Then secondly, we give the last letter sukun. Now, but it is formed differently with each of the verbs that I mentioned. So firstly, let's look at the first one, taktubu. First, we remove the harful mudara, which is ta here. We are left with kaf, sukun, ta, doma, and then ba doma. Then we give the doma sukun because it is a singular verb of the male. It is singular verb of male. So we give the last letter of the verb sukun after removing our harful mudara. Then because we can't pronounce this ka because of sukun, we have to add hamzatul wasli. We have to add hamzatul wasli. Then we give it doma. Why? Because our ta is taking doma. So we have uktub. So firstly we remove what? The harful mudara, then we give the last letter sukun. Why? Because this is a singular male verb. The next one, when we move to the dual verb for male and female, we remove the harful mudara. That's the first step in everything. Then secondly, we now remove the noon coming after the alif. So from tektubani, we remove the harful mudara, then remove the noon, then add hamzatul wasli so as to be able to pronounce the word. So we have uktuba. From tektubani, we remove ta, put hamzatul wasli, we have uktubani, then we remove the noon, so we have uktuba. Then we have taktubina. Taktubina, that is the verb for female, single female, second person female, the singular verb. We have taktubina. First step, you remove harfu mudara. After that, you add your hamzatul wasl. You have uktubina. Then you remove the noon to give you uktubi. So this is meant to be just yard. Ignore the alif here. Then the next one we have taktubuna. We remove the harfu mudara, then remove the noon to give us uktubu. Then finally we have the plural female verb. We have taktubna. We remove the harfu mudara, but here we leave the noon. Why? Because the noon is a pronoun. Nunun niswa. It is not something we can remove. So it has to remain there. It is just like the waw and the alif that we have in musanna and the yaw we have in mukhotoba. So we leave the nun niswa. So in all of the verbs that ends with nun, in all of the second person verbs that ends with nun, we remove the nun while trying to form amru, except nun niswa. That is the what, the female plural verb. We have to leave the nun niswa because it is a pronoun. So that is how we form fi'l amru. First step, you remove the harfu mudara. Then second step, you give the last letter sukun for a singular verb, for a singular male second person verb. You remove the domo and give it sukun. But for the other ones that end with nun, we remove the nun. We remove the nun and the harful mudara. We remove the nun and the harful mudara, except nunun niswa. That is the plural female verb. We do not remove the nun in that case. So that is the step we take in forming fi'lul amru. And note that if the letter coming after your harful mudara is not taking haroka, that is, if the letter is taking sukun, you will have to add hamzatul wasli to the word, to the verb, to make it pronounceable. But if it's a verb that has haroka, for example, qatala, yuqatilu, you can see the cough there is taking an haroka, that is fatha. So if we want to form our amru, we remove the harful mudara. After removing you from yuqatilu, we are left with qatilu. Then we give the last letter sukun, that is qatil. So in that case, we do not need to add hamzatul wasli at the end of that verb. That's the first way uh, of forming our fi'l amr. Now moving to verbs that have weak letter at the end. Mu'tallul akhir, weak letter at the end. Then what we do is what? Is we remove the harful mudara normally, because to form amru in any kind of verb you have to first remove the harful mudara. So taking da'a as example, we have da'a, the mudari will give us yad'u. Remove harful mudara, we are left with dal sukun, ain doma, and our waw jama. That can't be pronounced, so we add what? We add hamzatul wasl. We have ud'u. Our step is not complete yet. We have to remove what? We remove the harful illa. This wow is not wow jama, is harful illa. Ud'u, after removing it. So that is the one for the verbs that have 6 letters at the end. So da'a, yad'u, you remove the harful dora, then you remove the word 6 letter. After that you add hamzatul wasl. Then we have ud'u. Qada, yaqdi, remove the harful mudara, remove the 6 letter, we have iqdi. Then nada, we have yunadi. Same process, you remove the harful mudara and you remove the word 6 letter, you have nadi. So these are the 2 ways we use to form our fi'l amru from mudari. And you can move to, you can check this link for the previous video, the first fi'l amr video, that is Sogu fi'l amr, Sogu fi'l amr, for more revision. Let's go to the book to read what we have there. So from Matn al-Izzi, page 64, we have fi'l amr. We have, it says wa amma al-amru bis-sighati wa huwa amru al-hadir فهو جار على لفظ المضارع المجزوم. So it is what? It is the command of the present, that is command that you give the person you are facing. فهو جار على لفظ المضارع المجزوم. So it comes in the shape of mudari that is what? That is majzum, that is taking jazm. So فإن كان ما بعد حرف المضارعة متحركا, if what you have after the harful mudara, the first letter, for example, we have kataba, yetubu. If what you have after it is mutaharrikan, as haroka, like the one I used earlier, qatala, yuqatilu, the qaf as haraka. It says fatusqitu minhu harf al mudara. We remove the harf al mudara, that is harf al mudara, the ya there we have qatilu left. From yuqatilu, remove the ya, we have qatilu left. Wa ta'ti bi suratil baqi majzuman. Then what you have left from that shape, you now make it mujzum, that is you give it jazm. So we have qatala, remove the harf yuqatilu, we have yuqatilu, remove the harf mudara, you are left with what? Qatilu. Now says then bring it in a shape that has jazm. So the qatilu will be left with what? Sukun instead of domo. That is the jazm state of that particular shape. So we have qatil. That is for what? For words that have the letters after harful mudara mutaharrikan that have haraka on them. So qatala, yuqatil, qatil. So fatakulu fi amri al-hadir min tudahriju. So this is an example. Tudahriju, we have dahrij, dahrija, dahriju. So what did they do? They just remove the harful mudara, then gives the last letter sukun, dahrij. Then you tudahrijani will become dahrija, because we are going to remove two things, harfu mudara and the nun that ends tudahrijani. Same thing for tudahrijuna, we have dahriju. Then we have dahriji for tudahrijina, tudahrijani, dahrija, and tudahrijna for what? Tudahrijna. So we just remove the harful mudara in the case of nun niswa. So now says وهكذا تقول في فرح وقاتل وتكسر وتباعد وتدحرج. So it's the same thing we did, same thing we did from tufarrihu. We remove the word the ta and give the hasukun. We have farrih. From qatala, yuqatilu, qatil, the one I use as example, elha. Then we have takassaro, yatakassaru, remove the tatakassaru, remove the ta, we are left with takassaru, then give the rosukun, we have takassaru. Then tataba'adu, we have taba'ad, after removing what? Harful mudara and giving the dal sukun. Same thing happens with tadahraja. So it says wa in kana ma ba'da harfil mudara'ati sakinan. But if what you have after the harful mudara is taking sukun, for example, kataba, yaktubu, the kaf which is after the yaw of the mudari is taking sukun. Fatahzifu minhu harfal mudara. We remove the ya like the normal step. Watati bi suratil baqi majzuman. And you now bring what you have left of the word as majzum, as what? A word taking jazm. So kataba yaktubu. How will that take jazm? We give the ba what? We give it sukun. So kataba yaktub uktub. So mazidan fi awali hamzatul wasli. So because the kaf is taking sukun, we have to add hamzatul wasli to complete the word. So maksuratan illa an takuna ainul mudari minhu madmuman. So the hamzatul wasli that we are adding is going to be what? Maksura. It's going to be taking kesra. Illa an takuna ainul mudari minhu madmumatan. Except that the ainul mudari of that thing is taking domo. For kataba, yaktubu, uktub, that is when we what? We give the hamzatul wasli domo. But if you have qara'a, yaqra'u, we are going to give what? The hamzatul wasli kasra in that case. So it now says fatakulu unsur, because from nasara we have yansuru. Then when we remove the ya, which is the harful mudara, and we give the last letter sukun, put it in majzum shape, we have unsur. Tensuru, tensurani, unsuro, unsuru, unsuri, unsuro, unsurna. So we remove the ta, that is the harful mudara. We remove all of them from each of the words. Then we now put them in their jazm state. So how do you put what is taking domo in jazm state? You change it to sukun. How do you put what is taking nun in jazm state? You remove the nun. You remove the nun for all of them except nun niswa because the nun is a pronoun. So wakadhalika idrib wa'lam wanqati' wajtami' wastakhrij. So it's the same thing we applied for the other examples that are here. So now says wafatahu hamzata akrim bina'an ala asli al-maf'ul fa innal asla tukrimu to akrimu. Fa inna asla tukrimu to akrimu. It now says what? We will now give the hamza fatha. You know the normal process is to remove harfu mudara. Then if the next letter is taken sukun, we introduce hamza sul wasl. If not, we go with the flow. Qatala yuqatilu qatil. But here now, an example comes that we leave our hamza taking fatha if the aslu of the word has hamza. For example, akrama. Akrama, the aslu is taking hamza and it is what? Rubai. And we know that when we want to take that rubai to mudari, we have to remove the hamza, we have what? Yukrimu. But the aslu of that yukrimu is what? You akrimu. So if you have akrama, taking it to mukhatab, to krimu, which is to akrimu. So what do? We remove the ta. So instead of working with two krimu direct, we cannot work with the two krimu directly because it's going to give us another amru. So we have to work with what? The aslu. We bring it back to akrimu. We bring the hamza back because it is what? Rubai. So we bring it back. We have to akrimu. Then we remove our harful mudara. After removing the harful mudara and giving the mim sukun, we have what? Akrim. So from to akrimu, remove ta, remove the ta here, we have akrimu, then you give the mim sukun, we have akrim. So that is what we have for tonight, how we form fi'l amru. Once again, if you want to revise the Solgo fi'l amri from the beginning, like the first topic we took from Sarfu, the link is attached to the notes in the comment section. So, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make the knowledge beneficial one. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.